Hello. I'm so happy you're here. Good evening. I'm so glad you joined me. I wanted to make a video about Aquarius season and crystals that I tend to associate with Aquarius season, and also a little bit of just how Aquarius season is reflective of where we're going as a collective. So, get my intention, candle going. So, my intention tonight is to help you align with your path, your highest and greatest good, what's good for your soul, and being in alignment with your soul, and for me to help you along your path in whatever way possible. So, I think you're probably already wondering why I'm talking about Aquarius season when it has passed. But I do, or I most strongly resonate with sidereal astrology. And for those of you who are not familiar, and I am by no means an expert on astrology, not even close, but this is my sort of low-level understanding. And sidereal astrology is just a little bit different. It is what is used primarily in non-Western countries. In the West, we use tropical astrology, and tropical astrology is based on an adjusted system. So this system is more theoretical. It's chopped up perfectly evenly to just be a little bit more abstract. But sidereal astrology is based on the exact location of the planets and constellations. So it's reflective of exactly what you'd be looking up at in the sky. And a lot of people find this version to be a little bit more resonant on a deep soul level. It tends to be the sign before what you would normally associate. So those tropically I would be a Sagittarius, but sidereally I would be a Scorpio. And a lot of people also find that growing up, they might more strongly resonate with the former. And then as you get older, you kind of graduate to your previous sign, or the one that comes before. So regardless of which way you look at it, it is true that whatever your sign is, you get elements of both of your sister signs. So you still have all of those elements in there a little bit. And of course, it's not as simple as just that, the chart is very complex. So, yeah, I find it to be more resonant and more true. I did identify more with Sagittarius when I was younger, and as I get older, kind of lean more toward the Scorpio. So, yeah, I guess that's, if you need to unfollow me now, you can go ahead. I don't blame you. So, the way that I look at the zodiac signs is the way that I look at everything else a little bit. Again, it kind of goes to my name, Prism, and being on the spectrum. I sort of read things just by their base frequencies. So I try to tune in on, with the zodiac signs, what their most sort of primal or archetypal frequencies are. And some of them are very complex and some of them are not to me. So it's kind of interesting. I don't pretend to know all that goes into it. And I'm just kind of basing it on the frequencies I feel when I tune in to that specific energy. So I've done this study for 2 years, and every month or every season, I would tune in and find all of the stones that I felt encapsulated those vibrations most strongly. And then I did it again the next year, and I found that I was pretty consistent. I tried to not really remember how I did it the first time, and the second time back through, I picked pretty much the same things. So, this may not resonate with you at all. This is just the lens that I view the world through. So, you can just relax and enjoy the video, and I'll keep going. So, Aquarius energy to me is it's probably the weirdest, the most unique in the entire band of the zodiacs. And it's the one that's going to leave you most kind of dumbfounded, if you will, or will be the opposite of kind of what you would have expected kind of thing. So very, very different, and different from the other air signs even, I think. It's a lot lighter and a lot more naive, I think, in some ways, and then also in some ways it's the most ancient. It's really kind of a paradox. And let's see what else. Very whimsical. I think that's the best word I could use to describe Aquarius energy, is whimsical. And I love that. It's such an interesting, the frequency is so interesting to really internalize and experience. So I would encourage you to find what you think sort of resonates in the same way, if it's not these, and make note of it, because what you can do is kind of two different approaches, or you could do both. You can find energy to help balance what's coming through. So the cosmic rays that are coming through and passing through these constellations and planets is what influences the energy. So if it's not specifically harmonious to you in that particular time, or if you're already encompassing a lot of that energy and you need to sort of tamp it down a little bit or mitigate that energy, you could take the approach of balancing that energy. So finding crystals or other energies that might help make it be less extreme and a little bit more accessible for us. So you might do that if you're, say, a fire sign and it's an air season. You might not want to be explosive, with those things mixed together. So you could find something like a balancing approach to help you kind of ride it out safely. Or the other approach is to kind of just take the bull by the horns and find something that encompasses this same frequency and amplify that and just use it to your advantage. So it really kind of just depends on what that specific energy is and how you plan to use it. That would determine your approach. So I'll talk about the crystals now. So the first crystal I have is called Brazilianite. And Brazilianite is a yellow-green phosphate mineral. And I love this one because the phosphates are so interesting, the way that they play with light, and that phosphate really is a light bringer. And this crystal is a very high vibrational, very sweet energy, very kind of solar energy, and I really, really love the frequency of this little crystal. Let's see if I can get it to work here. Yeah, so this one has a little piece of blue tourmaline in it, which I think is kind of extra appropriate because Aquarius energy to me is bright lime green, bright yellow, and blue, light blue, and sort of the mixture and interplay of all of those colors. I'm wearing my most Aquarius shirt that I have, just to kind of paint the picture a little more. So I really feel like Brazilianite captures the frequency of Aquarius energy and allows you to kind of have that as a record or just a reference so that you can work with the energy if you need a touch point or something to kind of help you focus. And the next one I have is called Plumbogummite, and it's over a crystal called Pyromorphite. And this one is from China. It's found in a couple other places in the world, but kind of these weird blue ones are most typical of China. And I love this for Aquarius for so many reasons. One of them is just because it's probably the weirdest looking crystal that I have. It looks so alien. It looks like something you would see in a video game. It's just bizarre. And I think that's so perfect. And the colors, so it's got the right frequency, both sort of energetically and in the electromagnetic visible light spectrum. So the colors are perfect. And I'll see if I can. There we go. So you can see it's got that light blue, and on the inside it's a really lime yellow green color. And I just think that it matches so perfectly. And really just sort of holds that essence. Another reason why I love this crystal for Aquarius season is that it's a lead-based material. So this is actually really pretty heavy for this little crystal. And this one helps in the first sort of regard that I was talking about. It helps balance. So if Aquarius is all the way out there, we probably need something to help bring us down a little bit, but in a gentle way. I've found that it's really tough to use heavy grounding stones like hematite or even black tourmaline can be cold and feel like just an anvil, you know. So we want to ground in a gentle way that's not going to be too heavy for Aquarius season. And the lead really helps with that in this specific vibration. So it also helps it sink deep into the body. And that's really important too for things that might feel too flighty or too abstract or too tough to grasp. It really helps bring things into reach. So that is my perfect Aquarius stone. And really those are the main two that I have for Aquarius. Like I said, some of them have more and some of them only have one or two. So it's really kind of interesting. And I will plan to do this once a season. I will also have a class that is just the zodiacs all back to back and going into much more detail. I'll record at some point, but I really just wanted to get that information out right now. I'm feeling a lot more drawn to just sharing rather than direct energy exchanges yet. So I will do this and share each month on my zodiac crystals, and let me know if you have any that are specific to you that you would like to hear or talk about. I'd love to hear what everyone else feels resonates. And I wanted to kind of tie in that the Aquarius season that we're in on a larger scale as we're moving into what more and more people are starting to kind of think of as the age of Aquarius, or a new age. And you might think of that in terms of the Fool in tarot, or even the Hanged Man. Aquarius is really interesting for looking at things with a different perspective, upside down. They're definitely not right side up. So I love that energy as well. And we're really going to be seeing so much more of this as we are collectively raising vibration and raising awareness, raising hope as well for a better future. So with that, I've noticed that in general, crystals seem to be getting a little bit more whimsical. And I have just a few examples here of whimsical crystals. But keep an eye out for what new finds are coming out and the lesson that we can take from that right now in this time where it is so hard to just be alive on Earth. It's really, really taxing emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. It's so hard for every single person. So I feel like Spirit is reminding us every now and then to take steps back and just laugh. I know that can be hard, but Spirit doesn't take things too seriously, and we should try not to either. Find the humor wherever you can, and don't forget to laugh, because it is such good medicine. It is the most important medicine, and laughing keeps you young. That's what my grandmother always told me, and I really think it worked for her. She was so vibrant and so healthy for so long, and she is still vibrant even though she is in a living facility and has total dementia, but she is still the most jolly, happy person and is everyone's favorite there. So don't forget to laugh. And I'll show, I already talked about these, but I just have to bring them back up. Not to plug my shop, I promise, but to just talk about how weird these crystals are. Again, the Brucite with Chrysocolla. So this is probably the weirdest one I have, and it's just so interesting. You have to think whimsical when you see this crystal. And they're so happy and so joyous. And I actually would associate this crystal with Aquarius season 2. The bright yellow color really is perfect to me. And it also is so bizarre. It has a really unique energy, really unique sort of job. It's another one that feels really naive, but also really ancient at the same time. And it's just so much fun. It's another one that's just so fun and so silly that you have to take a step back and just laugh. So this is probably my favorite, most weird one. And I just have 2 more examples. These are, some of these are listed, some are not, but they will be at some point. This little weirdo, to me it just looks pretty alien, as well. And this one, which to me, I'm gonna date myself here, but I don't know if any of y'all watched Ren and Stimpy. But he had magic nose goblins. If you know, you know. That's all I'm gonna say, but that's what this reminds me of. And they're just so beautiful and so weird and so funny. So, if you want to bring some whimsy and fun, uplifting, sort of solar, childlike is a really good word for it too. Childlike energy. I think that would be perfect. The next one I have is a pretty brand new find, and I'm just so excited about it. It's so ridiculous. I bought a lot of these, so I will have some available soon, but they have to get here from China. So mine came in the meantime, but look at this. It's called popcorn selenite or popcorn gypsum. Selenite is actually a different crystal than gypsum, so we'll just call this gypsum. But it looks exactly like popcorn. I'm not even kidding. Like exactly. Just like a big giant piece. The ones that I have look a little bit different. They call them chocolate coated, but they really just look a little bit burned. But they're still cool. So, like with something like this, you just have to take a moment and step back and be like, this is so silly. It's absurd. But they really actually do pack a punch energetically. They're very, very cleansing and very high vibrational. I don't know if you can hear the subtle. Sounds almost like glass. So pure and light. So yeah. Sorry, I got distracted in the noise. It's such a good sound. So yeah, get excited for when these come in, and they're so much fun, but they really are really, really, really good to work with too, just from a serious side as well. Almost how you can imagine popcorn being so airy, and it's this tiny little thing that just is mostly air. It's very similar, but it can absorb a ton for that reason. So very, very cleansing. Just totally cleanses the aura. So I'm just gonna take a moment and send some Reiki through this, and just to cleanse your aura. And when I mean aura, I don't just mean like that there's a beautiful color around your body. I mean that bodies that are like tuning into a radio station. So they're just a little bit different frequency, and over time you can tune into them and get information from them. And they are biomagnetic and electromagnetic. They're all kinds of things that they're information fields basically around our body that sort of inform our processes and things like that. So, not just waving this around, but truly to gather anything that's no longer serving, anything that we're going to shed and help us to be lighter for not only this season, but this age, this new era that we're slowly but surely stepping into. Just to comb it through your field. Alright, there you have it. So, that's my little share about the Aquarius energy and collectively, largely on a big scale, where we're headed to. And I hope that helps sort of set the stage and explains a little bit more about how you can look at the world and look at these energies and frequencies. So, thank you again so much for joining me. Please let me know how else I can help you and how I can be part of your path. I'm writing down ideas for videos every day, and all of your feedback is so helpful. So, thank you again so much, and I'll see you soon. I love you.